Hey guys, welcome back to another video here on East Coast Creep. Up until 6 weeks ago, I had been vegan for 5 years. I ate a very balanced diet of both raw and cooked food, with the exception of the occasional gluten-free pasta or block of tofu. I actually developed a gluten intolerance about 2.5 years ago, so I haven't been able to eat many mock meats or any bread for a while now, at least not comfortably. I never went extreme with any diets or with anything. I logged my food almost daily just to make sure I was getting all of my nutrients. It was very important to me to eat nutritionally complete, and I always talked about this on my channel because I am a firm believer in the gut-brain connection, and I always knew there was a big correlation between how we feel when we eat certain foods and if we're missing certain nutrients, the effect of that on the human body and stuff like that. So I supplemented, I exercised, I ate over 2,300 calories a day, even though I'm only 5'2", just to make sure that I was getting enough of everything. Like I said, eating right was very important to me because I ultimately knew that was what was going to keep my mind and my body healthy in the long run. If it wasn't for other YouTubers sharing their experiences, I wouldn't have figured out what was going wrong in my life. And I find so much value in each person's story, and I'm so glad that I watched the videos with an open mind and was able to let that information in when I needed it, because yeah, my life was just heading in a really bad direction. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you would know that I've been struggling with anxiety and depression and ADD, ADHD for a while now, and it has been so much more difficult than I've let on. I was barely managing it. I was like scraping by with all of my holistic health practices. They were getting me, they were doing me pretty good for the condition that I was in and I have been in for the last couple of years. But there's so much more to life than relying on things like that to feel good. You should just feel good. It was just like a roller coaster of going from being anxious to being depressed to having poor focus and a scattered mind. And, despite starting therapy back in October, I couldn't keep steady no matter how hard I tried. It's clear to me that, looking back, that I was getting worse throughout the years and I didn't realize. Up until 5 months ago, I used CBD oil to manage my various mental health problems. After a certain point, I realized if I was going to get serious and actually move past those issues, I was going to have to do that unaltered. My true self, my true feeling self. So I made the decision to get sober and I decided to cut CBD out of my daily regimen. Apparently CBD oil was doing a couple things for me that I was completely unaware of. Not only was it, suppressing a lot of the symptoms of my mental health issues, but it was also suppressing inflammation that I was experiencing in my body and my digestive system. About 3 months after I quit the oil, right around the time when all of the cannabinoids would have exited my system, I had the most severe and intense IBS attack ever. Like, I didn't know people had pain like this. I collapsed to the floor and I was in bed for 4 days. I couldn't move. My digestion had always been really bad eating vegan, but I think I was at least managing those things this entire time because I had been smoking cannabis or taking hemp the whole time I was plant-based. So I think those things were keeping my inflammation down enough where I didn't experience any pain like that. On the day of the attack, I had very typical meals, but by 4 p.m. that day, I was literally like collapsing on the floor. I had to like crawl from room to room. I couldn't get up. There was one point where I had to pee and I had to crawl to the bathroom, and then it took me over a half hour to like squeeze pee out. It was insane. And, I wanted to go to the hospital initially, but I'm not an idiot. I knew it was something that I ate, and I knew I had to just do some research and try to go on some sort of elimination diet to figure out what could have been causing it. So I tried an elimination diet where I essentially took out FODMAPs, and I was also trying to take out as much fiber as possible, but things were improving, and the more research I was doing, the more I figured out that I was exhibiting symptoms of Crohn's disease. So that was really hard to to see, but that's what I was dealing with, and every symptom fit to a T. So within a few days of me discovering that I exhibited the symptoms of Crohn's disease, I decided to give animal products a go because they're the only food that doesn't have fiber, and you know, I had been pretty much starving myself on and off just to keep the symptoms down. I didn't want to eat animal products. I was really upset. I was crying a lot. But I got to the point where I was just like, this is ridiculous. I can't starve myself and not eat ever again. I'm gonna not stay alive that way. So I had eggs and I cried a lot. It was ridiculous, but after that initial meal, I had no pain whatsoever. I actually felt good after my meal. I felt really nourished and satiated, and I remember thinking that to myself and being so annoyed and confused. So I've been on the carnivore diet for 6 weeks now, and not only is my digestion perfect, everything has cleared up, every single thing. All of my mental health issues have resolved, and I'm not dealing with any symptoms of anxiety, no symptoms of depression, no symptoms of ADHD, none. Before, I was relying on meditation and yoga to get me through those things, and I had to meditate 5-6 times a day, just whenever my mind would wander, because it happened a lot. I have meditated, I think, 3 times in the last 6 weeks. It's strange. It's odd to wake up in the morning and to feel energetic, but also calm and focused, like I know what I'm going to do with the day. That was never something I experienced before, and it was something I had always wanted to experience. So at this point, my mental health is exactly where I want it to be, and can't get much better than that, honestly. I feel like I've re-entered the planet from some weird, distant, far land that I never want to return to, honestly. You know, I love animals, and I really hate that I can't be vegan anymore, but I also really like being alive and eating. So yeah. Next video is a 1-month update of the carnivore diet and how that's going. All the positives, all the negatives, everything. So stay tuned for that, and as usual, leave any questions, suggestions, or comments down below. Thank you all for watching, and I will catch you for the next one.